Dear friends. So let's begin with another episode of our journey together. Today we are going to talk about Buddhism. Before I begin, let me also remind you that I am not an expert of the subject. I'm a very sincere student and I will try my level best to do justice in whatever I talk today. We are here to learn about Buddhism, not to judge any religion or tradition. So in today's session, we will talk about life of Buddha and we'll see how Buddha was an MBA, Masters of Business Administration. We will also talk about Four Noble Truths. He mentioned Eightfold Path, Four Brahma Vihars, and Three Ratnas. We will also talk about Buddhist symbols and terminology. What do they mean? We also will talk about Buddhism after Buddha. And we'll try to talk about Nalanda University also. And then we'll discuss about the teachings of Lord Buddha. I'm equally excited to talk about Buddhism today. So, Shastras means scriptures. They literally means Shastra plus Traya. Shas means instructions. Traya means to protect. So when you talk about scriptures or Shastras, they literally means instructions to protect us, to make us fearless. But there is one thing from which even Shastras are afraid of. Shastras which are made to make everybody fearless, they themselves are afraid. What is that thing? Think about it. What is one thing that even Shastras are afraid of? And that one thing is its misinterpretation. So even they are afraid of it. The birthplace of Vedas, Upanishads, one of the highest philosophies mankind has ever generated. Even those philosophies are no exception to it. On this subcontinent, Indian subcontinent, one of the greatest philosophies were generated in terms of Vedas around 2000 years BC, 2000 BC, 3000 BC. These were the times where Vedas were created. But in due course of time, the virus of misinterpretation even infected the Vedas. The pious message was also infected. And then there was a decline in virtue and the rise of evil traditions like casteism, like blind faith in rituals, like orthodoxy of religions. All these things started happening. They were the viruses that infected scriptures. And the dharma was converted into a malice. Now to reestablish the truth, to redefine the dharma, to restore the virtue, a force was needed. And as Swami Vivekananda rightly said, that whenever this world of ours, on account of growth or added circumstances, requires a new adjustment, a wave of power comes and acts on both spiritual and material planes. And that wave sets a new motion, a new current of spirituality that envelops people little by little. And when such people go, they leave behind a wonderful energy and they make the nation young again. Civilization becomes once again fresh. A tremendous energy flows and a new era begins. And now we are going to talk about that only. The arrival of a grandmaster. I wish we were born in those days. Those days were called as the age of universal questioning. Around 500 BC, I'm talking about that time. It is called age of universal questioning. 6th century BC, age of universal questioning. Many questions were coming in everybody's mind because Vedas were unable to give answers because majority of the dharma was infected by the virus of orthodoxy and misinterpretation. So Mother India conceived a world-moving personality, 563 BC. And where was it conceived? In the downhills of Himalayas. Himalayas itself are known for its meditative importance. And there was a small kingdom there. The name of the kingdom was Kapilavastu. Even the name is very symbolic. It is the place where sage Kapila meditated. There was a small republic there called Shakya Republic. The king Shuddhodana and his wife Mahamaya was chosen to provide womb to this eternal wisdom. Mahamaya saw a dream, the importance of dreams. Mahamaya asked, how many of you dream? Don't take it lightly. They are the blueprint of our psyche. Fine. So Mahamaya saw a dream that a white elephant holding a lotus in his trunk is entering into the womb of the expecting mother. It was the indication of arrival of a master. That's why if a pregnant woman still today sees a white elephant with a lotus, it represents that whosoever is going to enter into the womb is going to be a great person. It was a full moon night in Lumbini Park, in the midst of the nature, under Sal tree, a bright child was born. His name was given Siddhartha. Siddh plus Artha. Artha means the objectives of life. Siddh means hitting it anyways. How many of you know for sure what is your objective of life? Raise your hand. Siddh Artha means one who knows what is the objective of his life and who hits it anyways. It is what the name was given to him. Rishi Kaladeval came to the kingdom. When he saw this baby, he predicted this baby will be either a great emperor or a saint. Another Rishi called Asit Rishi, when he saw the baby, he started crying. Even I would have cried if I would have been Asit Rishi that moment. Because Asit Rishi could see that he is going to be Buddha, the enlightened one, a world-moving personality. But Asit Rishi could know that I will not survive till then. When he will receive Buddhahood, till then I will leave the planet. I will die till then. So he was really missing the Buddhahood of that baby. And when the king heard all those things, he was really, really in panic because he created this much big kingdom for whom? Anitya, for whom? And Rekha madam would not have chosen any better person to introduce in today's session, Anitya. Something that is not Nitya. So, Buddha's father was, Siddhartha's father was really worried. He was concerned about if he leaves the kingdom, what will happen? And meanwhile, this young boy was growing as a very compassionate person. He used to save animals. He used to love animals. He used to talk to animals. Extremely compassionate one. Even if animal gets hurt, he used to cry. And extremely courageous to ask the state, to challenge the status quo. हम ऐसा ही क्यों करते हैं? Why do we do this way only? He asked all the difficult questions. What is the purpose of life? Why there is samsara? Why are we born? What if I die? What is death? A small child asking these questions to the parent. How many of you have asked this question to your parents? Imagine what kind of personality that child must be, asking these kind of questions. And the child was growing. And the fear in the king was also growing, afraid of the prophecy. So father made all the arrangements that the kid should see no misery at all. Even father used to dye his hairs black so that the father should appear young. Father made a law that around Siddhartha, no misery should at all come. Only young people should surround him. Only happy people should be around him. Everything good should be for him. Even he created many palaces so that even he should not feel misery of the nature, suffering of nature. If it is a season, if it is summer season, he will shift to the new palace where it is cold. So he was that much taken care. Ask and shall be granted. Complete indulgence. Father himself was spoiling the child. And then he grew up to be a brave warrior, a very romantic person, handsome like hunk, very powerful, a person whom you will see and fall in love with. And finally, he got married to a beautiful princess. The name of the princess was Yashodhara. Father was in a haste of everything. Father himself was interested that the Yashodhara should conceive as soon as possible. Because only then the Siddhartha will know what the father's heart feels like. And finally, Yashodhara conceived. When the son was born to Siddhartha, he called his son as Rahul. That literally translates into the bond, something which holds you, binds you. That is what Rahul means. But the quest in him was deeper. And his destiny was calling him again and again. Nobody can fight with it. One day, he went out to visit Kapilavastu alone with his friend. And he saw 4 things which changed him forever. This was the last hammer on his questioning mind. He saw for the first time an ill person, deceased person, for the first time ever in life. Can you imagine this? How much protected he must be around. He saw the first person, deceased or ill person, for the first time. Then he realized illness happens. Then he asked his friend, will I also fall ill? And that dumb fellow said yes. Yes, everybody falls ill. How many of you ever fell ill in your life? That dumb fellow said yes, people fall ill. Then he saw an old person. Can you imagine seeing an old person for the first time? And I'm not kidding. And he saw an old person walking with a stick. Then he asked, what is this? Who is this person? He said, his friend said that he is an old person. So his friend's name was Chandak. He said, Chandak said that he is an old person walking with a stick. Buddha asked, will I also grow old? As Siddhartha asked, will I also grow old? That dumb fellow said, yes, you will also. Will my father also grow old? Dumb fellow said, yes. Then he saw a dead body going for cremation. He asked Chandak, who is this? Chandak replied, he is a dead person. Siddhartha asked, will I also die? His friend replied, yes, you will also die. These were hammers. And then he saw a saint, very peaceful, sitting under a tree. He asked Chandak, who is he? He said, he is a saint. He needs nothing. Now he understood. How many of you see those four things? How many of you have seen an ill person in your life, an old person in your life, a dead person, dead body in your life, and a saint in your life? Raise your hands. But see, nothing moves in us, isn't it? And this is what is called birth sanskaras. These four things which are ordinary for us brought a havoc inside him. And when the student in you is ready, whole nature becomes the teacher. His student was ready. And material elements cannot appease the spiritual quest. Again, it was a full moon night, 533 BC. His age was just 29 years old. A full moon night, he withdrew from the world. He left his home, a seeker moving for search. That night witnessed a husband leaving his wife for wisdom, a father leaving his son for supreme, a son leaving his parents for permanence, nitya. Because if the body is anitya, if I will die one day, if no amount of money can make me alive forever, if in spite of all amount of money like Steve Jobs, I will die of disease one fine day, if no amount of money like Amitabh Bachchan can stop my aging, there must be something worth doing in this life. What is that permanent? A prince leaving his palace for peace with the same friend, that dumb friend, Chandak, with a horse called Kanthak. He left home. Wife, kids were sleeping. Then he searched for the truth. He met Acharya Alar Kalam. He was a Vedantist. He met Uddaka Ramaputra and he learned so many things from him. He was filled with questions. He understood the basic practices and fundamentals of self-inquiry. He had so many questions. But he wanted a direct experience of life. Direct experience. It was a bookish knowledge. So many books I learned in my education. But do I have direct experience of it? So the quest was intellectually fulfilled. But still he did not have direct experience. He wanted to see the connection between microcosm and the macrocosm. Something was missing. Now, life is do-it-yourself kit. So then he started his 6 years of penance and experiments with life. All the tricks he learned, he experimented himself. No theory, not at all. Learn and then practice. He left all the books behind. He practiced holding breath for much longer time. He practiced walking naked on the ground. He practiced even living on a grain of rice whole day. He did such a deep penance, can you imagine, that his stomach touched his spinal cord. He starved himself so much. Again, I repeat, nothing great can ever happen without penance. There are no shortcuts in life. And then, because he was starving, he was doing all experiments. That who am I actually? Am I the body? Am I the mind? Am I something bigger than that? So all experiments he was doing. And he fainted down out of weakness. Then a small girl appears, must be of the age of Anitya. That the name of that girl was Sujata. She saw him fell down on the ground. Sujata brought sweet and milk, rice, sweet milk and rice called kheer in India. And Sujata gave some kheer to him because he was starving. And what Sujata said was very valuable. She said, when you play a violin or guitar, don't uh, tighten the strings that much that it will break. Neither keep it that loose that it will make no sound. Can you be moderate in whatever you're doing? So that really struck the Buddha. And then Buddha realized suffering the body makes no sense. And then what he said is called golden mean. Be in the middle. Everywhere, be in the middle. Be samyak, appropriate in everything, whatever you do. And that's why Buddhism is called golden mean path. Avoid extremities. He took a vow then that I will not leave this place till I don't understand all doubts of my life. And then he started doing a moderate penance. For months, he kept seated there. For months, can you imagine this? Just sitting and thinking, and not leaving the thread of thoughts. And then Mar attacked. Mar, remember Buddha, remember Jesus? Mar attacked. Mar means the materialistic goddess. So Mar attacked Buddha. Mar said, Mar means a goddess, a hypothetical goddess, which is a goddess of materialism. So whenever you leave materialistic world, you need escape velocity. So Mar comes and checks whether do you have that velocity or not. So Mar said, I will provide you all the delights of the world. So Buddha said, my father has already provided. I already had too much of it. But Mar, whatever Mar said, Buddha refused. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. And then in deep penance, Buddha saw his hundreds of past births. As I am seeing you, he saw his past lives. Now imagine, whatever is your favorite movie. Think of your favorite movie. I am giving you 20 seconds. Think about it. Sanya, think about your favorite movie. Perfect. Thought? Now, favorite movie means you love to see that movie, yes? But if I give you a task that you need to see that movie throughout the day, see it and again repeat, see, repeat, see, repeat, see, repeat, see, repeat. I can bet upon it till evening you will have a headache. In 2 days, you will start vomiting even thinking about the movie. In 3 days, you will say that I will jump from 7th floor if you will tell me about the movie at all. If I will heard the movie's name. Because it is fine if you have it once, but not every time, all the moments. So when Buddha saw hundreds of lifetimes, then he became extremely bored about life. What nonsense. Every time the same drama. You take birth, you will have a mother, call her mom, call somebody father, then work for your career, identify a girl, get married, have kids, get some people for them, get them married, age, and then finally die. Every time the same story repeats. So Buddha became so bored about this repeated story. He called it sansara. Sansaran. The sansara is derived of the word sansaran, which continues. And he understood the cycle of karma, that you keep on doing something as action and the reaction comes, and the action and the reaction come, and the action and the reaction come, and this continues throughout the life. I need to break through it. I need to get what is nitya. Because the world is anitya. World is temporary. And how can temporary things give me permanent happiness, Diya? Everything that is temporary cannot give you permanent happiness. So he said, anitya. Remember anitya. 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 So now Buddhists, they have tattoo of anitya here so that they should never forget that everything is anitya. Only thing to be remembered in life is what? Anitya. Because when you know and always focus that everything around is anitya, then obviously you will go for what is nitya. Whatever you love the most, the day that person will die, you will cry. Everything will make us, everything which is giving you happiness today is bound to give you pain tomorrow for sure. No exception. This is what Buddha said. And then what happens? Blown off of all the flames of desires. Because once you know this, then your desire diminishes. Fine, you love somebody, that's good. The day that person will deceive you, you will cry. If not deceive, die, then you will cry. Or if not deceive and die, if you do something which you don't like, you will cry. So even love will make you cry for sure. Can you connect? So Buddha, understanding this drama, his desires got blown out. Like you blow out the flame of a candle. And this blown away of the flame of a candle is called nirvana. The literal meaning of nirvana is blown out of trishna. Vana means trishna, desires. Ni means not. Because it is endless. Nirvana, nirvana. 528 BC. He was 35 years old. And he understood the truth. He said, I'm quoting Buddha, quote, unshakable is the liberation of my mind. This is the last birth for me. And there is no renewed existence. I got the drama. Again, it was a full moon night. He was seated near the sparkling river of Niranjana. The Niranjana word itself means eternal happiness. Isn't it interesting? And still, he was seated under a banyan, a fig tree, people ka ped tha, where he got nirvana. And that tree is called Bodhi tree today. Bodhi tree. And then he became Buddha, one who knows. Fine. So in that definition, all of us are called Buddhus, one who does not know. Fine. So he became a Buddha, one who knows. And earth became the evidence of it, that yes, he realized himself. And that's why there are some paintings of Buddha where he's touching the land, saying that it is the evidence of it. And then things changed. He got his message clear. He didn't listen message from somebody else. He generated it from within. And then he shared that message with others. And that sharing is called first sermon of Buddha. 5 disciples were there to whom he shared it. He shared it in Sarnath. And that first sermon is called Dhamm Chakra Parvartan. Chakra, the cycle of samsara. He understood it. Dhamma means the truth. So the truth over the cycle of samsara. And what truth he told to everybody. How many of you are interested to know that truth? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that those truths are called 4 noble truths of life. Four noble truths. Arya Satya, first truth. And tell me how many of you agree with that truth. Fine. First truth is, there is suffering. There is suffering in life. Is there anybody of you who have never suffered at all? Can you raise your hands? There is suffering. It may be physical, mental, emotional, financial. There is suffering. Fine. He said birth is pain, birth is suffering. And that's why the baby cries. Who wants to take birth? Then aging is suffering. When you age, you can't work that much. When you age and you go to the garden, people don't notice you. Deepa, now when I go to garden, people don't notice me that much as they used to notice me when I was in my MBA. Fine. Age is suffering. Death is suffering. People die out of many problems. He said separation from pleasant is suffering. Think about it. Even iPhone is pleasant and it fell down, separation happened and you cried. Yep. Any separation from the pleasant is suffering. Marks are pleasant. Rekha madam did not give good internal marks. It's suffering. Isn't it? Good. Second is, conjunction with the unpleasant is suffering. If we are meeting something which is unpleasant, it is also suffering. And clinging to whatever is impermanent is suffering. So everything is suffering, he said. World has suffering. Make sense? Good. Second, there is a cause of suffering. It's not unnecessary. It's not why this second point is very important. Because whenever somebody used to suffer, Brahmins that time used to say, it's your karmas, you suffer. Fine. You suffer happily. So Buddha said, no, 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 no. It's not that you're only bound to suffer. No, you have a choice. Because suffering has a cause. And the cause of suffering is, this is the second Arya Satya, second truth. The cause of suffering is desires. Now tell me, what is the time in your day when you never suffered? Since your birth till date, tell me one time in your life when you never suffered. I will tell you then. Think of a day, leave alone your whole life. Think of a day. Tell me a time when you never suffered. Since your birth till date, that time you never suffered. What was that? Let me tell you. When we sleep in deep sleep, no suffering. In deep sleep, yes, in dreams we suffer. But in deep sleep, we never suffer. Yes? What is one thing that is absent in deep sleep? No desires. No suffering. Make sense? So Buddha said it is not that if you don't want to suffer, remain in deep sleep forever. You can have it while you are walking on the ground. Third truth, there is a solution for the suffering. Don't suffer. If you suffer, it's a choice. And what is the solution? Fourth truth. It is called Eightfold Path, Ashtangic Marg. First truth, there is a suffering. Second, there is a reason for suffering, that is a desire. Third, there is a solution for suffering. And fourth is, the solution is Eightfold Path. Make sense? What is that Eightfold Path? It has 8 steps for elimination of suffering. Elimination of desires, because it is the cause of suffering. First step. Now today itself, start taking those steps if you want. Step 1, right vision, samyak drashti. What is right vision? See that there is pain in the world. See that there is pain. See, if you have an iPhone, know that it will fall one day. If you have a Mercedes, it will have scratch one day. If you have your relatives, they will die one day. See that there is pain in the world. Don't see problems with individual, but the things around, the conventional model of life. See anitya every day. It is must. See self beyond this anitya. Once we start seeing world from that specs, then things will change for us. Second step, once you start seeing it, now can you see around and tell me one thing which will last after 30,000 years from now? See around. Is there anything? Nothing will last. Let's go further. Second step, right resolve. Samyak sankalpa means thought. Now, once you saw it, now have a determination. Don't make it a part-time work. Determination to root out all the thoughts that will create bondage. A determination that my happiness will not depend on anything which is temporary. Is that clear, dear? My happiness will not depend on anything which is temporary, because temporary will be broken one day. So be very clear in that determination. Determination to root out the suffering. Clear? Third step, right speech. Samyak vachana. Now, once you are determined, now don't do anything at all which will increase your connection with the world. Like, first, avoid saying lie. Don't speak lie. Satyam, speak what is the truth. Speak something which will help others. Hitam. Speak something which is good to listen to. Priyam. Why? Because if you will speak ill, people will fight with you. People will feel hurt. They will try to hurt you, and then you will be engaged in the world again all the more. So be nice when you talk to the people. Step 4. Think, when was the last time you spoke something which hurt anybody? Remember? Perfect. Next is samyak conduct, right conduct. That is samyak karmant. Be moral in your conduct. Forbid activities that will destroy life, like theft, illicit sex, excessive eating, too much comfortable beds, anything which will destroy life. Don't do that. That is called right conduct. Then what should you do? Once your conduct is right, then step 5th, right livelihood. Samyak ajiva. Earning through right means only. No unfair trade of weapon, animal, meat, white, the wine, poison, nothing of this. No unfair trade. Don't trade in such things which is wrong, which will hurt somebody. No unfair means no bribe, no pressure, no fraudulent behavior, no extortion, no dacoity. Buddha said all this. So whatever your means should also be good, because otherwise you will be too much engaged in the world more and more, and you will remain unrest. 6th is right conduct. Right effort. Samyak vyayam. Now, continuous efforts you need to put to eliminate ill thoughts. What are ill thoughts, Diya? Those thoughts which you cannot share with whole world. So eliminate all negative thoughts, cultivate positive thoughts, and have self-control for that. My friend did not give assignment to me in time. She's so bad. It's an ill thought. Fine. So continuous effort. It is a mental gymnastic. Continuous efforts. Then seventh is right mindfulness. It is called samyak smriti. Being mindful. Being mindful of this world being temporary. Anitya. So how? Being mindful about the body. It is called kayanupassana. Kaya means the body. Be mindful that this will decay one day. Kayanupassana. Be mindful about the sensations. Sensations that you have throughout the body. It is called Vedananupassana. In meditation, what they do is they close their eyes and they be mindful of the sensations. Let me tell you right now, just bring your mind towards your feet and see what is the temperature your feet is feeling right now. Could you think of? This is an example of Vedananupassana. Being mindful about it. Mind. Now, next is being mindful about your mind itself. It is called Chittanupassana. Now, at this moment, what exactly are you feeling? Give your feeling a name. How many of you are writing sleepy? Okay. Give that feeling a name. So, it is called Chittanupassana. Being mindful of your feeling right away. Next is being mindful about your thoughts. It is called Dhammanupassana. What thoughts are coming to your mind right now? So much to observe within. How will you get time to observe the world outside? All together are called Vipassana. Have you heard something called Vipassana? So Vipassana means Vishesh Pashyana. Vishesh means being very carefully, mindfully. Pashyana means seeing. Seeing self mindfully. So that you will understand yourself better. And the instrument for doing that is called Anapanasati. Ana mantla, inhale, out, exhale. Breath concentration. You can do that also. Fine. The eighth step is called right concentration. When you are doing right deeds in your life, you are speaking nice, your livelihood is fine, then automatically it will be easy for you to meditate, isn't it? You can't speak lie whole day and meditate. You can't speak ill whole day and meditate. You can't do wrong things whole day and in evening you can meditate. You can't. So many thoughts will come to you. So now you are prepared for Samyak Samadhi, right concentration. Now with this, meditate on all four noble truths with this disciplined mind. And then gradually, there will be a shift in your desires. You will start desiring less and you'll get nirvana. This is what Buddha taught people, informed and taught. And he also gave a doctrine of Panchashila. Shila means the moral values. Panchashila. First, non-violence. Ahimsa. Second, do not steal what is not yours. Even thought, if it is somebody else thought, quote that person if you know that person. Fine. Never steal. Asteya. Third is no sensual misconduct. Brahmacharya. Fourth, no false speech. Satyam. And fifth is no intoxication. Avyasan. Koi vyasan nahi. So these are the Panchashila he also mentioned. So this is what Buddha tells us as his path towards happiness. This 8 steps, first 2 steps is called pragya. Right vision, right thought are called pragya. Means wisdom. It is that you need to think. Yes. It is a real knowledge, superior of the intellectual knowledge. Next 3 steps, right speech, right conduct, and right livelihood, together are called Shila. Shila means moral conduct. Once you have Pragya and Shila, last 3, right efforts, right mindfulness, and right concentration, is called Samadhi. Then you are eligible. Samadhi, sam means balance, adhi means mind. Samadhi means then only you can have your mind balanced. So these are the steps to balance your mind. Nirvana. So next important doctrine he presents is Brahma Vihara. It is called 4 divine emotions. Thousands of years before emotional intelligence doctrine. He probably was one of the first person who talked about emotional intelligence. He said there are 4 things you should always have in yourself. And now keep raising your hand if you have it, fine. And then give yourself marks out of 10. 10 on 10 means you are exactly like this in all the situation, every moment, fine. But then you can cut marks if you are not like that. 1 mark, 2 mark out of 10. Ready? First divine emotion you should have is called Maitri. Maitri means loving kindness. It means friendliness towards all in all circumstances and wishing good for all in all circumstances. So all circumstances, even if somebody ditched you, in all circumstances, friendliness towards all. Raise your hands, waiting for you. Okay, perfect. Give yourself marks. Very good. Next is called Karuna. It is the foundation of Buddhism. Karuna, compassion, sympathy towards suffering of everybody, every person, an open heart that cares for everybody. It is a prerequisite for enlightenment, Buddha said. If your heart does not cry when somebody dies in Sudan, it is not a heart. So, Karuna, compassion. Give yourself marks on 10. Quick, waiting for you. Third is Upeksha, equanimity, aloofness towards the bad of others. I deliberately do not see if there are some ill habits of somebody. Aloof. I feel aloof towards the bad things, bad deeds, and bad words of others. That is called upeksha. Non-reactive towards everything. No, sir, how can she talk to me like this? No, sir, it is not done. This is not upeksha. So think. Fourth is called mudita, empathetic joy. Exactly what is not taught in 3 Idiots. Mudita is when your best friend gets first rank in the college. You feel happy for him. When your friends get more scores than you feel happy for others. Ability to be happy, seeing others happy. Not like, if I am not happy, how can you be happy? You are so insensitive. I am crying and you are smiling. How can you be happy if I am not? Mudita. Together is emotional intelligence. Make sense? Perfect. Next doctrine is called Triratna. Whenever you get confused in life, Buddha said, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. It has three meanings. Whenever you get confused in life, first thing, go to a Buddham, means go to the master. Go to somebody who knows the truth and share your sorrow. You will feel better, isn't it? Second, Dhammam Sharnam Gacchami. Read good books which teach you what is right. Dhammam, what is righteousness. You will feel better. Third, Sangham Sharnam Gacchami. Always be in the company or association of good people, righteous people. You will feel better in life. This is one meaning. Second meaning is Buddham Sharnam Gacchami means ability to awaken the Buddham within. Everybody has Buddham inside. Go to your own Buddham and awaken it like Buddha did. Dhammam Sharnam Gacchami means when you are awakened, whatever you do is dharma. Then you can't do anything is right, wrong. Third is ability to concentrate and absorb the mind is also called Sangham. Then you can do Samadhi also. So these are two meanings of those three Ratanas. Fine. Now I'm going to talk something about Buddhist symbols. Obviously, we'll very fast go about it. Elephant and lotus, arrival of Buddha, isn't it? Horse, leaving home of Buddha. It is called Mahanishkramana. That fig tree, enlightenment of Buddha. Yes, these are the symbolisms in Buddhism. Chakra, Dhamma Chakra Parvartan, that first sermon, chakra represents. Stupa, when Buddha died, his ashes were put in stupas. So they represent the death of Buddha. Then there are chaityas. Chaitya means the pillared halls for worship, where people sit and worship. Viharas, the place of stay. The gobas, small stoop. Fine. So these are certain symbols. Then there is a wheel of dharma. It is called dharma wheel. It has 8 spokes in it. It represents eightfold path. Then there is a white conch. White conch. That white conch, it represents the teaching of Buddha. Then there is a parasol, robe, that represents the royalty of Buddha. Then there is a clay pot. It is called treasure vase, treasure vase. That represent the endless qualities of Buddha. Then there is a victory banner in Buddhism. That represent the triumph of Buddha over Mar. And then there is the symbol of 2 fishes. That represents Buddha's liberation as a fish and leaving the pond and going to the ocean. And there is a symbol called endless knot that represents Buddha's endless wisdom. These 8 which I mentioned are called Ashtamangala. Dharma wheel, white conch, parasol, treasure vase, victory banner, golden fish, endless knot. These are called Ashtamangalas. Fine. Now there are certain Buddhist terminologies we should know. First is called Buddha. Buddha means one who knows the truth. Second is called Tathagat. Tathagat means one who knows the facts. Tathya. Tathyo se agat. One who knows the facts. Tathagat. Facts of life. As they say, get your facts correct. So the facts of our life are wrong actually. Fine. Next is called Tirthankar. One who paves the path for others. Next is called Jinn. Jinn means one who controls the senses, who can have self-control. Next is called Nigranth. Nigranth means one who is beyond the foundations. Another word is called Ahartha. In Sri Lanka Buddhism, it is called Ahartha. Ahartha means eligible. Ahartha. One who is eligible to be free is called an aharta. Aharth has to be a very enlightened person, you know. If somebody calls that he is a ahartha, don't take him lightly, okay? So ahartha means a person who is eligible for enlightenment. No next birth for him. Bodhisattva, who has achieved nirvana, but still being in the world just to support others. Professor emeritus in spiritualism. So he doesn't want anything. He is not taking salary even, but he is there to support the university, kind of. University called life. Rinpoche, one who has seen many past lives. They are Rinpoches. Fine. So Buddhism has huge impact on India. Even this Ashoka Stambha from Sarnath, which is Indian national emblem is taken from Buddhist only, because Ashoka was a Buddhist. So that four lions represents Buddha. Shakya clan, Shakya means lion. Buddha himself was a lion clan. The Shakya clan. So lion in Indian emblem represents Buddha himself. Facing four directions means Buddha's message reaching on all directions. And then there is a chakra in the Indian emblem that represents the samsara. And the axis of chakra represents the nirvana. Being in the axis, unmoving with the world. So that chakra represents that. And chakra also represents the timeless message of Buddha. And then there is an elephant in Indian emblem. Have you noticed an elephant in Indian emblem? That represents Buddha's birth. There is a horse in Indian emblem. That represents his leaving the home for knowledge and truth. And then there is an ox in Indian emblem. How many of you remember that? Ox represents Buddha's youth, full of power. So whole Indian emblem is full of Buddha himself and his strife for truth. So much impact of Buddhism is there on Indian subconscious and psyche. Fine. Now comes the Buddha. After Buddha, what happened? Fine. At the age of 80 years, look, he has a long period of time. He lived for a long period of time. At the age of 80, he was invited for dinner by Kunda. Kunda was an ironsmith. He offered mushrooms to Buddha. Shukkar Madhav. Mushrooms were poisonous. Even Kunda did not know. Somehow Buddha intuitively knew, but he had already ate it. So he ate completely. And Buddha knew, I am going to die now. And now the thing changes. Again, it was a full moon night. And then he was a Nigrant, Nirvana. He was not attached to the world. So he was not upset that he is dying. Under the sal tree, he lay down. And then he gave his final sermon. In his final sermon, he said, people asked, who will follow you afterwards? He said, the Sangha. Sangha means the group of Buddhists. The Sangha does not need any successor or any master. He said, message itself is the master. Let the message be the master now. He could think that because of such things, dharma gets splitted. And one important thing he says, see his compassion, his karuna. He said, the best food I ever ate in my life was the food which Kunda prepared for me. Because he knew that people will start cursing Kunda. Because of his food, I am dying. So look at his compassion. Remember Jesus. He said that please tell everybody that Buddha said, the best food of my life I ate today. And nobody should say anything to him. So he was so compassionate. Now, after his death, he died happily. All his disciples, Ananda and all were crying, and Buddha said, Ananda, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. I will be here. When the air will blow, you will listen to me. When there will be lightning in the sky, you will see my message coming. When you will see shivering in the leaves, it will be me. I will be all around you. I'm not going anywhere, Buddha said. And when Buddha died, his message was compiled immediately within a week after his death. It is called assembly. First assembly happened 483 BC in Rajgraha to compile the message. His message was compiled in three parts. First part is called Sutta Pitak. Pitak means the basket. Sutta means the verses, the teachings. The baskets of his teachings. Second is called Vinay Pitak. Vinay means rules, conduct. The rules of the matha, ashramas, where people used to stay. What should be the rules? It is called Vinay Pitaka. Third is called Abhidhamma Pitaka. Abhidhamma means philosophy. The philosophy, the rules, and the teachings. Sutta Pitaka is divided into 5 parts. Parts are called Nikayas. First part is called Dirgha Nikaya. Second, Majjhim Nikaya. Sanyukta Nikaya. Angutar Nikaya. Khuddak Nikaya. In Khuddak Nikaya, there is a part called Dhammapada, which is very famous. That's why I mentioned this. It is very famous teachings of Buddha is there in Dhammapada. So this is how it was compiled. But it is not all. After 100 years around, second assembly happened in 383 BC in Vaishali. And then their dispute came after 100 years. What was the dispute? Interesting dispute. So people started meeting again, and then in the dispute, remember how Christianity broke. The dispute came that whether during rainy season, when we don't travel, Buddha said, keep traveling, keep traveling. Because when you stay, you get attached. Keep traveling. But when we are staying during rainy season, you need to stay at some shelter. Can you cook at home? This is the question. Some said, no, you can't cook at home. Some said you can, and then they split it. Can you imagine that? Second, whether there is a concept of Atma or not. Because when it was asked where there is something called Atma inside, then Buddha took a small stone and threw it in the pond nearby. And he didn't say anything. He kept mum. So some people thought that Buddha meant the moment it fell on the pond, ripples came. So Buddha meant that yes, there is one Atma and all of us are the ripples of the same Atma. Some people said, no, Buddha said that it's a useless question. And they split it. Isn't it amazing? So they are split in two. One is called Sthavirvadi, another is called Mahasanghik. The Sthavirvadi feel that during rainy season, you can cook at your home. Don't need to go for bhiksha outside. But Mahasanghik said, no, you need to go bhiksha. Sthavirvadi said that he kept mum, it means there is no existence of Atma. Mahasanghik said he kept mum, it means there is an existence of Atma. Fine. Again, after 100 years, they met again to compile. So 250 BC in Patliputra, they met, and then they were broken in 4 parts. So what happened is, this Sthavirvadi got broken in many parts. And what were the questions? Whether Atma is there or not. Whether there is existence of a spirit, first question. Second, does God exist? Second question. Third, what is the status of permanence? So it's very interesting. Sthavirvadi, original Sthavirvadi said, neither Atma exists, nor Paramatma exists, nor permanence exists. Saumitya said, Atma exists. Saumitya means new discipline came. Saumitya said, Atma exists, Paramatma doesn't exist, and permanence exists. Then Sarvastivadi said, Sarv Asti. Atma also exists, Paramatma also exists, and everything permanence also exists. And then fourth came, they are called Sautantrik. They said, actually, we can't say that Atma exists and we can't say it doesn't exist. So we can't say whether they exist or we can't say whether they don't exist. Isn't it interesting? So all four combinations were there. Saumitra, Sautantrik, Sthavirvadi, Sarvastivadi. Buddha must be seeing it from heaven, isn't it? Interesting. Now, after a century around, they again met. And now what? You know what is going to happen again. So in Kundalwan, Kashmir, they again met. But this time, three, Saumitra, Sautantrik and Sthavirvadi, joined together and called themselves as Hinayana, the lesser vehicle. Original, they are called Hinayana. And that Sarvastivadi and that earlier Mahasangik, they both together called themselves Mahayana. So now two major fractions happen. Hinayana, Mahayana. So everybody, everything boiled down into two brackets. So what are the differences in that? You should know. Hinayana believes in wisdom, Mahayana on compassion. So first question about Bodhisattva means one who is walking on the path of Buddha and about to get enlightened. So Bodhisattva. So Hinayana says, it is called lesser vehicle, that you try for your own liberation. Look, everybody is born separately, they will liberate separately. But Mahayana is full of compassion. It says, no. If your mother is unhappy, can you be happy? Anitya, tell me. Yes or no? See? So Anitya joined Mahayana. Mahayana says that even if there is one person unhappy, you cannot be happy. So let whole world be liberated. We all will be liberated together. So full of compassion for everybody. Let me wipe up all the tears. So you cannot be liberated till everybody is not liberated. Second difference. Can my punya be transferred? My good deeds, can I transfer to you? Hinayana said, not at all. It's my deed. It's your deeds. Mahayana said, no. It can be transferred. And this is how a person with my good deeds will help others also. Fine. Whether Buddha was a Lord or human being, remember Jesus also had to go through this question. So Hinayana said, no, Buddha was a human being. He always said, never make my statues. Yes, Buddha said that. Never make my statues. Buddha never worshipped any statues. Fine. So Mahayana said he was a human being. He was a propagator. Mahayana said, no, he was a God. He lives in heaven somewhere there. And from there he sees us. Avalokiteshwar. From here, he's seeing us. And he takes birth also. And new Buddha is also coming. It's called Maitreyi Buddha. One more incarnation of Buddha will come. Mahayana says. Should we go for idol worship? Hinayana said, no. Yes, you can worship the symbols which I told you. But Mahayana said, no. We will create statues. So all the Buddha statues across the globe. Mahayana. The scriptures of Hinayana is in Pali, local language, other than Sautantrik, which is in Sanskrit. But in Mahayana, it is in Sanskrit. Nalanda University belongs to Mahayana. Fine. And countries, Hinayana is more prevalent in Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos. And Mahayana is prevalent in China, Japan, Korea, Zen. That's why you'll see lots of pictures in that. Fine. In 4th and 5th century AD, even Mahayana broke in two parts, Madhyamika and Vijnanavadin. And again later, 7th century AD, Mahayana also got broken into Vajrayana, the vehicle of thunderbolt. Fine. Vajrayana means the tantric aspect also started touching it now. So from Bengal, so it started in Bengal. From Bengal, Bihar, Vikramshila University is famous university of that. And from here, 8th century AD, One Bodhisattva, his name was Padma Sambhava. He took this whole learning of Buddhism to Tibet. And from there, Lama tradition in 11th century AD started. Dalai Lama. His Holiness follows the Vajrayana tradition of Buddhism. So 11th century, this Lama tradition started. And they have goddess like Tara. Tara is a deity that liberates the soul. Matangi and many such deities you will find. So Mahayana, because it consider Buddha as a god, so many stories and everything will come in that. So this is what is the overall thing of this. Now the last thing about that Nalanda University we must know. Amazing university. Wow. It got established in 5th century AD by Kumar Gupta, a Gupta emperor. Na alam da. Nam alam means unstoppable flow of knowledge. Nalanda literally means unstoppable flow of knowledge. Amazing university. 5th century AD it got started. One of the world's most ancient university. Let me tell you, now while I am saying this, you are also studying in a university. Think about your university in 21st century AD. And I'm telling you about a university 5th century AD. Fine. 10,000 monks, practicing people used to stay there. 10,000 practitioners they used to stay there. 1,510 teachers. Teacher-student ratio 1:5. And the essence of the university is its library. It was world's biggest library, Sanya. I'm no kidding. How many books? 90 lakh books. Can you imagine? 5th century AD, 90 lakh books. That's amazing. 9 million books. The name of the library was Dharma Ganja. It's Dharma. There were 3 sections in library. First section is called Ratna Sagar, the ocean of jewel. Second is called Ratna Dadhi, the sea of jewel. And third is called Ratna Ranjak, the jeweled adornment. This Ratna Dadhi, Anitya, it was 9-story old building. Oh, 9-storied building. I feel amazed with the magnitude of that university. 9-story building. 18 branches of disciplines, departments used to teach there. 18 departments. Vedanga, medicine, science, maths, grammar, philosophy, astronomy, astrology, other than Buddhism itself. Residential campus for all the students. And how entrance exam used to happen. The moment student will enter into the university, the gatekeeper of the university will take the interview. Chaukidar will take the interview. I'm not kidding. Chaukidar will ask the questions and student couldn't answer, they will be removed. So much intelligent and laureate Chaukidars. You can't imagine about the principles. The alumni of this university is Emperor Harshvardhana, Padma Sambhava, Huansang, that great Chinese scholar, Dharmapal, Shilabhadra. My goodness. Students from more than 10 countries used to come there to study. Yes, it was a Buddhist university, pure Buddhist university. And after this facility, the fee is 0, no fee. Everything free of cost. for thousands of years. 5th century AD till 13th century AD, free of cost education. Lodging, boarding, everything free. Then came 1193. There was an emperor called Bakhtiyar Khilji. He fell sick. He came to know that the principal of Nalanda University is an amazing scholar and he can treat you well. He was a hardcore Muslim. He didn't want to take any medicine that is not of Islam. But because his health was deteriorating. Finally, the principal of Nalanda University, Shri Rahul Shri Bhadra. Aryabhatta, have you heard the name of Aryabhatta? He was also one of the principals of this university. You can imagine that. So the point is, they were so great scholars there. So this Rahul Shri Bhadra went for the medicine. And then the king refused that I will not take any medicine which is not Quran or Islamic. Then what to do? What he did is, he said, okay, fine, you read Quran, is it okay? King said, okay. He pasted the medicine on the pages of Quran. And he used to read Quran and he used to put medicine in his mouth. He got well. When he got well, Bakhtiyar Khilji was amazed by the intelligence of the principal of Nalanda University. And then he was threatened that if they are that intelligent, it is not right. He decided a massacre. And still I feel goosebumps to think about it. Whole Nalanda University was burnt in fire. People were killed brutally. The fire was so massive, Sanya, that it took 3 months continuously to burn all the books. 90 days continuously it was put in fire. And an era that started 5th century AD ended 12th century AD. 700 glorious years of wisdom and knowledge. Thousands of original manuscripts of Upanishads got burned. The greatest treasure of Ayurveda India ever had was there in Nalanda University, got burned. It is very painful to think even. But Buddha told non-attachment. So let's smile. Now, with that, now I will come to the teachings of Buddhism. What Buddha taught. Amazing teachings. What he exactly taught. And how was he an MBA? Fine. Let me tell how was he an MBA. He was an amazing, intelligent person. Look, he understood the problems of his times and provided a proper solution. He said that in Dhamma, no animal sacrifice is needed. So all the businessmen went and joined Buddhism because they were sick of the animal sacrifices of the Brahman Dharma. For every thing they need to sacrifice. Then you can go overseas also for business. Buddha permitted. People joined Buddhism. You can take interest on loan. You can take money on interest. You can charge interest. Buddha permitted that also. Even female can become monk. Buddha permitted that also. No casteism, complete equality. Even you can eat non-veg, provided you should not have killed it for your eating. So he was so liberal, everybody joined. He could connect to people. He didn't speak in Sanskrit, which he could have easily. He spoke on Pali language, local language. The first thing he says that, yes, I can see pain. There is pain in the world. People could relate with it. He didn't ask you to go for great, deep penance. He offered you a middle path. Easy. He connected with the king, and king were the role models of those times. When king started following him, everybody started following him. Bimbisar, Ajat, Shatru, who were his followers, were the kings. So the point, and he said that non-violence is a principle, not a rule. It is a principle you should follow. But if somebody is doing wrong, you are permitted to kill that person. So he was very practical even. He said non-violence is a principle. Rule means you cannot defy. Principle is good to have. So that's why he was very contemporary. And suddenly everybody started following Buddhism. He was a reformist. He reformed Hinduism. He reformed and he brought a bright new understanding of the concept of dharma. So now we will talk about some of the most beautiful teachings of Buddha. One of the most beautiful teaching of Buddha is from the womb of the battle, only war will emerge. Extreme of anything is poison. What is poison? Whatever you do for extreme is poison. Follow golden mean. Being equipoised. Be same for respect and disrespect. This is what we need to achieve in our life. Buddha was once asked, what did you get out of all this meditation? Buddha said, nothing. Nothingness is what I got out of it. Now I have nothing in my mind. I am peaceful. But Buddha said, let me tell you what I lost in meditation. What I gained is nothing. But what I lost in meditation is, I lost all my anger. I don't have it now. I lost all my ego. All these things I lost. Fine. When somebody irritates you, Buddha said, be the master of yourself, not the servant of his will. One person came to Buddha and spitted on him. Buddha said, I understood. Anything else that you want to say? He again spitted. Buddha said, I understood. Anything else that you want to say? 3 days back, the same person came, crying in tears, touching Buddha's feet and said, sorry. Buddha said, I got it. Anything else that you want to say? That person got confused. He said, that day when I was cursing you, spitting in front of you in anger, you said anything else that you want to say. And today also you are saying the same. Aren't you angry with me? Buddha said, look, I am not your servant. That because that day you were upset, I should also become upset. And today because you are happy, you are fine, I should be happy. How many of you behave, how many of us behave like a servant of others? Be very honest. If my friend behaved badly with me today, my mood is off. If my teacher appreciated me in front of 10 people, today I'm very happy. So my mood is so much dependent, my whole existence is so much dependent on others. Buddha said, be master of your own self. Fine. Then lead every moment mindfully. Buddha was walking with Ananda and a mosquito reached to sit on his shoulder. So Buddha did like this. And after 1 minute, Buddha again did like this. So Ananda said, the mosquito has flown away before itself. Buddha said, I know that. But last time, just by my reflexes, I did it. Nothing in my body and mind should happen without my permission. Everything should be done mindfully. It shouldn't be that it came in my mouth. Somehow I spoke that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Actually, that time I was angry and I couldn't control and it happened. No. Every single behavior should be thoughtful. It is what you call command over yourself. Make sense? But some people tell to Buddha, but if there are some people who don't listen if you don't get angry. When you get angry, people listen. When people do mistakes, shouldn't you be angry? Buddha said, fine. If you feel that if you want to show anger and people will do your work, then show anger, don't be angry. There is a difference. Buddha said, his, don't bite. Just show anger, don't be angry. There is a difference. There is a beautiful story behind it, but because we don't have time about it. So he said that if your fight is with yourself, and that's why follow the golden path. Be neutral. Fine. Devdutt, his cousin who tried to kill Buddha, and after Buddha reached Buddhahood, Devdutt said, I'm sorry, I did so many bad things to you. Buddha replied, I do not remember any of your bad or good deeds. I'm neutral about it. It's all a drama. Even if you appreciate, doesn't make me good. Even if you condemn, doesn't make me bad. I'm not your servant. Appadipo bhav. The biggest defeat of life is when you don't realize your true potential, Buddha said. You can't walk on the path till you don't become that path, Buddha said. You need to become that path, then you can walk that path. Buddha said that if you are not happy here, now, in these situations, then you cannot be happy ever. Happiness is a state of mind. There is no way that there is no way that goes to happiness. Happiness is the way. He said, don't follow whatever I told you to follow. No. Read it, experience it, practice it. And if it appeals to you, then follow, otherwise reject it. Even if it is written in some big scriptures, reject it if it doesn't appeal to you. But be honest as a student. Don't have bias. Buddha said, I am not the first Buddha, nor I am the last. In future, there will be many who will come. You yourself are Buddha inside you. Rise and walk on dharma. Buddha said, I am Margdatha. I can only show you the path. I am not a Mukti Data. I cannot give you salvation. So don't look towards me to get salvation, not at all. Walk towards it, then only you will achieve. Dhamma hi Dhamma ka uttaradhikari hai. The successor of Dhamma is Dhamma itself. Buddha said, if a dharma needs to cream and chant the name of its founder again and again for its assertion, it is not Dhamma. It's self-evident. Dharma lives on its own merit. And you don't need a boat. You don't need a boat once you reach to the another side of the bank. Leave everything. Leave even the master, even the scriptures. None of them are needed now. Once you realize yourself, they are just instruments. Don't worship them. Rather than worshipping the value, the masters, follow the values those masters represent, Buddha said. Rather than valuing the masters, master the values those masters have. So this is what was the life and times of Lord Buddha.